we have to remember, Laura, people forget 5 years ago, of course, we had the COVID crisis. And aside from the public health element of it, what it should have taught us, Laura, is we can't rely on communist China to make all the critical stuff. You had hospitals that didn't have medical supplies. You had businesses, manufacturing businesses that couldn't get core raw materials because China was shut down. What the president is doing is changing 40 years of a failed bipartisan consensus in Washington, D.C. that has sold out American workers and destroyed the underlying economic strength of the United States of America. We're going to rebuild it. It's going to take a little time, but we are going to do it.
Does that include medical device manufacturing, which most of it really went to Canada? So all these great American companies from Minnesota and Midwest shot up there to Canada, lower prices, the companies like it, but American workers lost out. So how long would this transition period be to bring those types of companies, if that's the ultimate goal, back here?
Well, look, I think it's going to take time, right? Some of the stuff, you're already seeing factories that are adding shifts for American workers. That happens immediately. Some factories, it takes 18 months or 2 years to build a new facility. So it really depends industry by industry. But the basic thrust of President Trump's economic policies is if you invest in the United States of America, you're going to be rewarded with lower taxes, lower regulations, lower energy costs. If you want to build a factory in China, that's your right, but you're going to pay when you try to bring that stuff back in the United States.
Or Italy.
Yeah, and the president made this point actually in the visit with the Prime Minister of Ireland yesterday, that the European Union has in some ways been the worst on American workers and American industries of anybody. They're imposing ridiculous tariffs. They say that they're our most important ally. And of course, we care about European security, Laura, but they don't treat us like an ally when it comes to economics. They actually hammer American consumers and American workers in the process. The president, you know, the thing that underlies all this, Laura, is of course a defense of the American worker, but a recognition that we're not going to take unfairness anymore. If Europeans do something to us, we're actually going to fight back economically. For the first time in 40 years, we have a president who's standing up for America's people.
Your hometown, Ohio, destroyed. Akron, all these wonderful American cities, totally just kicked to the dirt for decades, and all those people were told, learn to code, do other things, and now it's going to be a difficult period. How long do you think that transition period will be?
Well, again, Laura, I think it really depends on what kind of industry, what kind of factory that we're talking about. I mean, you're already seeing instantly some factories, especially in the automobile sector, who are announcing they were going to move to Mexico under Joe Biden. Now they're actually building capacity here in the United States. Some factories that are idle part of the time, they're turning on additional shifts. So I think sometimes it's going to take a while. Sometimes it's going to happen immediately. It really is a case-by-case thing.